It's a pony car that was saved from the scrap heap. A 1966 Ford Mustang convertible owned by Robin Vogel of Morris, Connecticut, who has a lifelong connection to it.
When I was a little kid, my father bought it as a parts car. It didn't have any floors. I mean, it was basically ready for the junkyard. And that was how we got it. And I used to sit in it as a child and play car and tell him, I'm going to have this car someday. You know, please don't part it out, Dad. You can't do that. You know, as I'm sitting in the car, pretending to drive it, I'm like, this is my car.
The Mustang didn't become hers until after she attended Housatonic Valley Regional High School.
I took metal shop and I took auto body, so I would learn how to work on this car. And of course, I got ripped on by the boys really bad. Girls can't do that. Girls don't know how to work on cars. And then I got the highest grade in the class. And the boys were pretty mad about that. And my teacher said, well, maybe if you opened a textbook, you know, you might have gotten a good grade. She had no choice but to open the textbooks because she didn't know how to do it. And I did pretty well. I learned how to do welding and, you know, learned how to rebuild a motor. And then I took a job at a body shop in one summer. I was the tape girl. I would tape off all the windshields and everything. And
the Mustang was her reward for completing high school, but it came from her dad with a condition.
He kept it in our barn all those years, and he basically said, scrap it or build it. And I said, well, I'm going to build it, but of course at that age I didn't have the resources to do it. By the time I got it out of the barn, the motor was practically seized, the rear end was seized. We dragged the car down the road several times until the rear end, you know, opened up. And it did. Kind of made a thunk and was unseized.
The car originally had a factory 289 cubic inch V8 engine with 3-speed manual transmission. Hearing it turn over for the first time was memorable.
I gotta say, I was like one of those women on The Price is Right. I was so excited. I really couldn't contain my excitement. To hear that motor start back up was just amazing. And so I really got the, you know, motion to do it. You know, I was ready to go. And so they said, well, you know, you're gonna have to rebuild this motor. It's been sitting.
Vogel did all the engine work herself.
Sat there for 2 weeks over a bucket of gasoline, washing with a toothbrush each part.
And everything else too, from the frame to floor pans and bodywork.
I think the hardest part on that was the sandblasting. You know, getting under the car, no matter how much equipment, you know, stuff you put on your face, you know, you're picking that stuff out of your skin for a couple weeks, I would say. It was rough. But I did it anyway. You know, I didn't want a speck of rust on that car.
The Mustang returned to the road in 1995, and Vogel has been driving it ever since. A 302 cubic inch Ford V8 replaced the original power plant, and the bold wheels have been added.
My father had the same exact Krager wheels on his car, so I upgraded to these, I would say a few years ago. I had different Kragers on, and I said, boy, you know, when I did the motor, I said, I've got to really go with this. And so I bought the exact same wheels that my father had, that I used to sit on the ground and, you know, look at, so shiny. And
the sporty Mustang gets driven regularly by Vogel, just not to places where it might get dinged.
You know, I enjoy just driving it around. I feel really good about it because I've touched every inch of this car.
And it certainly is a beauty. That's Ride Connecticut. I'm Bud Wilkinson. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Ride Connecticut's YouTube channel.